General Clarke, you're sitting alone here today, but you shouldn't be. The FBI declined to appear for this hearing, and I believe they put you forward to answer questions for them. I've heard some concerns about the FBI's response to hate crimes. I've heard they've been uncoordinated and that the FBI hasn't always kept in touch with the communities that have been targeted. What can the FBI and the department be doing better to communicate with and assist the communities that are being targeted for attacks and threats?
Thank you, Ranking Member Grassley. While I cannot speak for the FBI, I can speak for the coordination between the Civil Rights Division and the FBI. We know that they have elevated hate crimes to one of their highest threat band levels. We've worked with them to carry out training for law enforcement across the country to ensure that they are instituting best practices when it comes to standing up to hate. I know that with respect to the most recent tragedy in Colleyville, Texas, that the rabbi at the synagogue that was targeted credits the active shooter training that was provided and supported by the FBI. So while I can't speak for Director Wray, I do know that standing up to hate crimes is an important priority for the agency.
Should the FBI have more coordinated national leadership when there's a string of related crimes like these dozens of threats that have appeared at historical Black colleges and universities?
Ranking Member Grassley, I can't speak for the FBI, but what I can tell you is that in the dozens of recent hate crime prosecutions that we've brought over the past year, we could not have done this work without the expertise and resources that the FBI brings to bear in investigating these cases, developing these cases, and the aid that they bring to our prosecutions is critical.
The FBI didn't immediately understand the anti-Semitic nature of the attack at Colleyville, even though it was an attack on Jewish congregants. Apparently, the FBI thought that because the attacker was motivated by a jihadist, international terrorist ideology, he couldn't also be anti-Semite. Is it correct that many international terrorism movements have an anti-Semitic ideology? And if so, shouldn't the FBI agents who work international terrorism cases be trained to recognize this as domestic terrorism investigators are?
Ranking Member Grassley, I believe that you are referring to a preliminary statement that was made on the ground by an agent in the heat of the moment on the heels of that tragic hostage taking. The FBI has been unequivocal in declaring this an act of anti-Semitism, in declaring this an attack on Jewish people who were targeted because of their faith. And we know at the department that anti-Semitism is a problem in the United States today. And the FBI stands as a partner to us in the Civil Rights Division in our work to hold perpetrators accountable when they target Jewish people because of their faith.
When the FBI works terrorism investigations, they often do so in a very proactive way. They try to discover those who are planning violence and interdict those people. This is often done with sting where government agents pose as co-conspirators. However, criminal civil rights investigations tend to be more reactive. There have been efforts to change this. In the case of a person who intended to bomb a synagogue in Colorado, counterterrorism and civil rights authorities worked together to catch him in a sting before he could put his plans into effect. In fact, as a staffer of mine and a staffer for Senator Durbin's worked together on that investigation while they were both at the Department of Justice. My question, how can the Department of Justice bring a more proactive approach to hate crime investigations?
Thank you, Ranking Member Grassley. We have been very focused on trying to get ahead of hate crimes. One of the things that we've done is we've not turned our back or ignored hate incidents. These are incidents that may not run afoul of our criminal statutes, but may run afoul of our civil statutes, and if ignored, could escalate into something more violent. I'll give you one example out of the state of Utah involving the Davis School District, where students were subject to harassment. There were hundreds of documented incidents of racial slurs and violent acts targeting young people, and we worked with the school district to put in place a comprehensive set of reforms that will help to ensure a safer learning environment for those students. But working to address non-criminal hate incidents that may run afoul of our federal civil rights statutes is one of the ways that we're trying to be proactive and get ahead of issues before they escalate into something more dangerous and violent down the line. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Grassley. Senator Coons.
Thank you, Chairman Durbin, Ranking Member Grassley, for this important hearing, and thank you, Assistant Attorney General Clarke. It's great to see you again, and I'm so grateful for your decades of commitment to this important and critical challenge facing our nation. It is as old